Hey, listeners, welcome to the Marketing Share Podcast. I'm Alec, and here with me is Barb, my co-host.
Hey, Alec, how's it going?
I'm good. Okay, we are in studio today, and we have a fun guest today, right?
Yeah, I like this guy. Alex Membrillo is the CEO of Cardinal Digital. And I've been watching this company for a while. They're really on fire. And they're in the space that they really carved out an amazing niche in the multi-site healthcare space, right? There's so many practices, right? Whether you're a dental practice, whether you're a med spa, whether you are a dermatology group, there's so many of these multi-site medical products that are out there, medical companies. And many of them right now are getting purchased by private equity because there's a lot of roll-ups going on. So his business has just really taken off and exponentially grown.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting model, which if you're not in it, you probably don't realize it, right? But yeah, this private equity backed model is one that from talking to him and hearing how he's being successful, you realize, oh, okay, there is an engine here where private equity is helping to really deliver and provide more services and provide better services. So it's pretty interesting, and the success that he's been able to build on top of that.
Yeah, and I like to kind of go here for a second, only because we get this sometimes, right? There's a lot of people that sometimes push back on private equity groups, sometimes like, oh, corporatization, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And, honestly, they're trying to do a job like anybody else, right? And they're seeing something that's replicatable over many, many locations and seeing if you can operationalize that.
Yep.
By the way, everybody does that. So if they see this opportunity, that's what they're trying to do, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's not a bad thing. It's just, next level evolution to a lot of things.
Indeed. All right. Well, let's go talk to Alex and have a fun conversation with him. I'm glad to be back in studio with our guest today.
I know. So fun. This is Alex Membrillo, and Alex is the CEO of Cardinal Digital Marketing. And I got to say, I have been watching this company for a while. It's doing some great things, especially in the space of multi-site healthcare, which is an area that I've spent a lot of time in. So I've been digging in, and I've seen Alex before, and he's putting out some great content and so forth. So I thought it'd be really cool to talk a little bit about, what's happening in that space, the operationalization that's going on in that space, and just see where the company's going and kind of tell us about your path. So, Alex, bring it on. Tell us where you've been, how you've gotten here, and the exciting growth trajectory you're on at Cardinal.
And I think we are 105 people. It's a healthcare performance marketing agency. Specifically, it's multi-site PE-backed provider group. So we're a niche within a niche within a niche. And at first, it makes you very nervous, but it sure pans out after 3 years of putting out propaganda. You call it LinkedIn content. That's very nice. That's a nicer word. We built a position. We also got a bunch of case studies over the last 5 years of being in the space, and we've been open for 16 years since I started. And so the flywheel kind of spun, and the team does good work. And then they put words in my mouth that seem smart on LinkedIn and our content. We try to get lots of healthcare marketers together, and it's a fun space. It was the PE thing was a lot more lucrative in 2020 through 2022 because money was cheap. And then they start focusing on something else, not M&A. It becomes de novos and same store growth. And so that's okay for us too, because then they say, we're not just going to do tuck-ins. We need new websites and, merge all this. It's like, we want to run more effective media, and you guys are good at that. So either way, we benefited from it. And I've also learned all the fun ways that PE actually advances medicine and gives people more access to care. It's not always that way. There's bad players everywhere, but that nomenclature, it's wrong, the stigma that they get. I've seen it help our medicine here in America tremendously. And so it's cool. We like it. And we're trying to get into more high acuity, more touchy-feely stuff. We've got a children's hospital, and there's nothing more important to us than that. And want to get some more oncology work. And I think we're going to do some free foundation work for an oncology unit in Piedmont Health down here in Atlanta. So it's cool. Marketing and doing some good for the world, maybe. I don't know.
That's great. Which curiosity, can you say which children's hospital is it?
Dayton Children's.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I live in Cincinnati, so Dayton's just a little bit an hour north of us.
Well, we're trying to make sure no one goes to yours.
Well, yeah. Cincinnati Children's Hospital, one of the best in the country. We have it out there.
That's actually like our initiative. And so it's been cool to see our creative team work. We've never, don't tell Danes this, but it was kind of a newer project for us. Like we did tons of patient provider interviews and like help them see their own hospital in a totally different way. And the website will come out in the next 18 years. I don't know when. And I'm pumped to see it. It's going to be huge transitions, really cool work for our team. It should bring a lot more projects like that in the future. And the team loved it. They went to the hospital at Dayton.
Yeah.
Obviously, you come out crying, but it reminds you why the hell we're doing this. This work.
No, that's great. Okay, so now that's sounds different than your sort of base bread and butter, right? Because you the thing you do is multi-site, right? So tell for listeners that maybe don't have as much familiar with it, can you explain what does it mean, multi-site healthcare providers?
Multiple locations. So think a big in the PE world, they've done a lot of roll-ups. And so while you may see Dr. Jim on the dentist name, Dr. Jim's actually financed by something called a DSO, which is a big dental group that owns 150 Dr. Jims around the country, but it has allowed Dr. Jim to keep his brand and has given Dr. Jim some things like more efficient workflows in the back office and hiring support and marketing support. And so they hired Cardinal to do marketing for all 150 Dr. Jims around the country or wherever they are. And so we have big derm groups, behavioral health, mental health, derm, PT, you name it, anything that's kind of retail healthcare. That's the thing we play in, and we do lots of Google, Facebook advertising for all those groups.
Interesting.
Now, everybody is really operationalizing in this area, and that's why you talk about the PE groups and so many people rolling up these businesses. And sometimes, like I've seen providers say that's a good thing. I've seen providers say that's not a great thing. I love the way that you dug into that a minute ago. And they're doing some really good things for the marketplace, and it does allow the owners to actually focus on care, right? And not some of the business.
Mm-hmm. It does. When it's done well, they focus on care. When it's not done well, they leave pretty shortly after investment, and then you get the junior right out of school, and then that's not so great. And so you've seen a lot of these DSOs, MSOs coming out with new models where the doctors will share in a good bit of the equity, not even just for that clinic, but for the entire system. And so they're more bought in, they stay longer, they focus on the medicine, and the business improves. And so they're coming up with new models all the time. The PE bros are very smart. And do they care about the best, giving the best, making sure the best care is happening around the country? No, but they realize if it is really good care, the client comes back, the patient has a longer LTV, a bigger LTV, and that's financially beneficial. So it kind of works hand in hand. The PE bros want to deliver good care because it makes them more money. And so it does go hand in hand when it's done well. Now, sometimes it's not, but that's not because they didn't intend to. It's because they were incompetent financial investors.
Interesting. Okay. Now this model, so the way you described it, these are multiple site locations, but they retain their branding, right? So there's no desire or objective to imprint like some sort of corporate brand. Is that the way this model works?
Not always. And so when there are individual Dr. Jims around the country, we call that a house of brands. And so that makes it a pain for the marketers because we got 100 different ad campaigns, and Dr. Jim is Dr. Cindy and Dr. Sally and Dr. whatever the fuck. And they all have different websites and all that stuff. But occasionally, I'd say 40% of the time, it's one brand. Okay. So you'll see that brand. Let me think of Ideal Dental. You'll see around the country. Banfield Pet Hospital, City Vet, like those are big one brand, and it makes it easier for them to control the narrative, but it makes M&A harder because not as many vets want to become Banfield, if you will.
Yeah.
So,
I guess, okay. So that's the trade-off that sometimes if you're one brand, that might make it harder, but then once you get into it, the system is a little bit more easy to replicate.
Easy to replicate. And I don't know, they could both come with their trade-offs. M&A is easier on one, marketing and systems and probably sellability easier on the other one. And so I don't know. That's for the PE bros to figure out. But as marketers, we have figured out the way to market either way.
I worked on house of brand and I worked on big brand, right? And, it is easier to control the brand, right? As a marketing leader on the large brand, but you're right. Acquiring new practices, most people want to retain their culture, their autonomy, etc.
And it's better for the patient retention is better when it's still Dr. Jim.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Differentiating your agency. I love that you've picked this niche. Your hair looks fabulous.
Dude, I showered for you guys. I was out moving rocks in the garden. Sorry, what were you saying about me?
Differentiating your agency. So when you're in these pitches, right? And I'm like, you have a real niche marketplace. I don't know that there's a lot of people that are doing it better multi-site than, and more robustly. So did you make that conscious decision, or is that kind of how it evolved? Or
it evolved in in 2015. We brought on a large urgent care group and a large dental group, Care Spot and MedPost on the urgent care side, and Dental Works at a time, which has become Sunrava. But anyway, so we had great case studies. In 2020, we're like, oh my God, we're just trudging along at 7-8 million. We need to do something differently. And I said, let's value expertise over variety and shut down all of our other verticals and really get into this thing. We have 2 great case studies and we love healthcare and we can create a mission around it. It's 10 million, connect 10 million patients with care. So the whole thing worked. And if you want to read more on the thinking that we got to, it's the Hedgehog Principle by Jim.
Good to Great.
Yeah, Good to Great. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Bus. Yep. The wheels on the bus and the hedgehog.
Collins.
Yeah, right, Jim Collins. All right, so we got half of that.
I have them on the back here somewhere.
I went and put hedgehogs on each one of my leadership team's desks. We had desks back then because people came to the office. Anyways, I won't pick that bone right now. And I said, hey, listen, we're going to pick the thing we're best in the world at, the thing we care most about, the thing that drives the engine, yada, yada, yada. So it ended up being that thing. And then did I do TAM analyses? The P guys, what TAM analysis? I don't fucking know. It looked like there was a lot of big dental groups and derm groups that needed our help. And so that's why we did it. And now, yes, we have... there is not many there are none of the same scale as us that play in the same. There are some good ones. They're smaller, but they're good. And so we exchange clients occasionally, but of scale and with the size case studies that can handle the biggest groups with 1,000+ locations around the country. Yeah, Cardinal's it. And so if you're okay with not being the biggest company in the world, it can be really fun to take a smaller TAM and just be badass at it. It's worked for us. And now we have to figure out the next concentric circle. So we're getting into health systems. We're doing med testing stuff. We'll maybe do clinical trials in a few years. And if we believe in the drug or the medicine. So it'll keep going. As long as the core thing is performance advertising, we'll be fine. Yeah. We just shouldn't start doing other services, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you get a new client and you go in and you take a look and figure out what they're doing and how what you need to do differently, are there certain levers that you generally find or okay, look, it's either one of these 3 things. It's, they need to improve patient acquisition, or it's maybe their cost structure is too high. Are there certain levers that you quickly look to?
Yeah. One, they are always tracking the wrong thing. They're always tracking the wrong thing. It seems obvious, it'd be a lead, right? Yeah, but the L in CPL is very different to a lot of people. And a lot of medical practices just track every lead form and call that comes in. But they don't know if it was a net new patient call, and they don't know if that net new patient actually scheduled an appointment. So whenever they're talking to Cardinal on discovery call, the first thing we say is you're going to need one of these 3 tech partners. And that's why the tech partners love us and they sponsor. They love us because we are big referrers. If they are, and we only recommend the best HIPAA compliant BAA signing tech partners, but hey, you have to get the right measurement system in place or we are useless and you can't pass back the right information to the ad algorithms and stuff like that. And we know how to do it in a HIPAA compliant manner. And so that's a bigger differentiation for Cardinal and has built a moat around us that other agencies don't want to F with. We also have to spend $20,000 a month on HIPAA compliance and lots of training for the flock and all that kind of stuff. And so Barb, yes, back to your question on pitching, it makes it easy when there's not a lot of competitors and no one else wants to F around in this side of the business. The best thing, Alec, you can do is you audit their ad accounts and their measurement, and you come back and you say you could do these things differently. 1 out of 3 times, we say you're doing great. You don't need Cardinal. Stick with what you got. Stop yelling at your agency. They're doing a great job. And so we will be very fair. If we can't help them, there's no point. I'm bringing them on. The 90 Days of Peace sponsor will say it's not that much better. Mm-hmm. So we're very honest to save our own skin mostly, but No.
Very brave and very transparent. Not very often you see that.
Well, we just lost, dude, Barb, we just lost a big ass one because we said, hey, listen, they want all kinds of media planning, and we could have gone and snuck in a traditional media plan. We said, no, we suck at it. We just only want to do digital. If you want us for that, they said, fine. We wasted 2 months pitching, bringing teams out, all of that stuff. And they said, actually, we do need traditional media planning. And we said, son of a bitch, you just wasted 10 people's time for a month. So it happens.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the metric you just mentioned, because I don't know how many times I have had to translate to my healthcare client that a conversion from the digital agency they're working with is not an appointment in their book, right? So talk a little bit about how people don't get that right.
Yeah, it seems wild, but maybe you want. I interviewed someone on our podcast, Ignite Podcast, the best healthcare marketing podcast, second best marketing podcast. And I interviewed someone yesterday, and I said, "What did it take to get the right measurement stuff in place, right? Lead tracking and all that stuff, call center." And Alec, back to your question, we do the auditing, and the call center is usually the second thing we look at because the unanswered call rates are bad, the conversion is bad, and our friend's tech will help with that stuff. And so we will look at all of that. And that's generally what we find, Barb, is like they don't have the right measurement, and they don't know the difference between lead and appointment because it takes 3 years to implement at a bigger group. Some of this technology, you have to get a COO on board, the CFO for investment. The COO has to go to call center and make sure they're all it's a ton of work. It's a ton of work. And so we make it sound easy as marketers. Go get this. And then we're going to track the right things. But it takes total buy-in. They also have those doctors or owners. And so they have to go convince, I don't know how many hundreds of doctors sometimes to make the investment. So easier said than done from us marketing wizards.
Yeah, totally. I'm a believer, and you can't do this at a giant health system, of course, but for a multi-site that is manageable, if you can own as many of the touch points to get somebody a butt in the seat, the better that result is going to be. So if you can, as even a marketing lead or a growth leader, if you can own call center on that, right? Now you have the ability. If you can't measure it, you can't improve it. And if you can't, right?
And if you can't own call center, and more of the marketing directors are more junior, they may not be able to own the call center. You need to go to the damn call center, and you need to sit with the head of it, and you need to be one of them so they'll listen to you when you say, I've got this feedback. We aren't converting patients because we this and that, and Cindy's a little slow, and Jim didn't pick up the damn phone. So go sit in call center if you can't get it to report to you. And the most important thing for our marketing leaders is you're not in charge of leads. You're in charge of patient growth. And it doesn't matter. You come into the C-suite and say, we drove 1,000 leads for the 20 grand in bed. Nobody gives a shit. How many patients actually showed up? And so you do have to be BFFs with the COO and the head of ops, call center, all that stuff to get people in the door. Also the technologists, because you're going to want online scheduling. And that's a whole nother thing you're going to convince people of. So we make it sound easy. I think it's not so easy for in-house marketers to get it all squared away.
Alex, how long do you tell clients that to give you to start showing the results? Like, are you, because, everybody's about quick results. What can we see immediately, right? What's the time frame you tell them?
Our type of client is extremely impatient because they're private equity backed. So we have and we work with a few health systems, and we don't hear back for like 3 weeks. And we're like, what the fuck? Are we getting fired? And we generally say, hey, listen, the first month, we are going to do some quick wins. We used to just audit. People would be like, what the hell did you actually do? So now we actually do work. The audit's faster, and we actually do work. And then month 2, you'll see a slight gain, but the ad platforms have to learn. You're passing back new information on what is qualified net new booked appointment. And you are changing your bidding systems to value those differently. And if you're dentistry or implant, setting value targets and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, all the shit that the media teams will do. Generally, in month 4, you're seeing significant improvements in the paid media. In SEO, it depends on the level of terrible it was, but you're not. I think now with the LLMs, Alec, you are not going to see 1 or 2 month big changes because the LLMs look at press mentions, brand reputation, all kinds of stuff that you can't change as quickly as a meta title. So that is more going to be, if you want to play in the SEO AIO space, just invest for 2 years and you'll start to pick things up. You have to improve the business too. We can't work wonders anymore alone.
Yeah. That gets to there's a million questions in that, a million comments in that. I'm glad you said that we don't just audit anymore in the first month, although it's hard, right? Because, you're coming into a new piece of business. We all audit, right? You have to look in the business. You have to look at HubSpot or whatever they're utilizing to actually understand their business a little bit. But we're also under pressure to make those quick wins into instantaneously, which is kind of a high lift in my mind.
Yeah.
So in those big lifts, it's a media kind of answer that you can get to quickly.
Both. If the SEO is a little, so
Yeah.
you both, the audit now just instead of 4 weeks needs to be 2. That's what I asked the team, and we just did it for 56 location, 30 brand aesthetics group. And so that's fine. Do your audit. Don't start doing shit without knowing what you're doing. But we've got 10 people on the account, so you can't just do whatever you want. And so 2-week audit, and then 2-week, you're changing the measurement, the bidding structure. You're bidding on different things. You're sending back different signals if they have the right technology. And then in SEO, you're not just fixing like obvious meta title and priority type stuff and moving services. They care more about Botox than they do filler, and you're moving things around, but UX matters too. And so the team is not just looking at ranking you. They're actually we have a creative strategist embedded in every engagement now, and they'll look at the UX of the page. They look at ads. They look at everything that it takes to convert, not just the media or SEO. And so there's quick wins and all that stuff. You can change the course of a client in 30 days, big time, and you'll see those results a month or 2 after.
It's good.
You hear you talk, it really drives home, I think, what you started with, which is find a niche thing that you know you're really good at, and then just focus in on that. Because I think it seems to me like your ability to know what to do and to be able to generate that type of quick win is because you've done this, whatever, 50, 100, 200 times now, and you kind of just have an intuitive feel for it.
Yeah, Alec, and we don't just know like the right marketing stuff to do, which is hard to do in healthcare, but we don't just know that. People are going to figure it out because we've led the industry in healthcare marketing thought leadership. I'm starting to see other agencies are good at the marketing stuff that we do too. And they've been learning, and our employees go other places and help them. And that's cool. So rising tide will help everybody find more care. Good. But we also know like the business stuff of like looking into call center and on call rates and pickup. Right. And then we have friends that can do call center consulting, and we know how to look at the technology stack. And so the marketing stuff is half the equation. We tell clients like, we'll fix the marketing shit in 90 days. You're going to have another problem after that, which is you can't keep up with the lead flow. It's both sides of the equation.
Capacity is always the issue, right? A lot of my SaaS friends, right, won't understand this one, right? Because they're just like, give me more. But, this is somebody delivering care at a location sometimes. So capacity is a whole other piece that you've got to weigh in on in this. So how does that change what you do? And
we are absolutely. And we've developed systems over the last 5 years so some clients feed us capacity data by location, by service line. So general dentistry has this many hygienists open. So don't try to book more appointments. They're booking out 2 weeks. We have people manually searching online schedulers for 600 location dental groups, making sure that there's appointments available within a week, or they're shutting down advertising. Other groups are feeding us back capacity, and then having a tracking all the way through to ROI for the investment. So it gets complicated, and the multi-site thing, capacity matters a lot. And if you're not in healthcare, it's not something you would know. We didn't know. Like, why isn't the business improving? And then after a year, we're like, oh shit, we've been sending media to clinics that don't have appointments.
Right. Years ago, we understood you don't do ads in the middle of the night, right? Because nobody's going to be there, right, to catch a call. But now it's almost like you have such precision. You're driving that to each location and understanding how many hygienists you have or how many practitioners are available. Wow, that's why, to me, this area is such a niche, and it's such an important niche, right? Because you have to balance all those.
What I will say too is I think the hardest thing with getting an agency to scale in the niche was it has to become part of your DNA. And it took a while. We'd still say clients or cases when you're talking to a healthcare group 2 years in to the healthcare specialization because they got off a call with a lawyer or they didn't know how. Now we have 105 people. 80 have been around for a year or two at least. And so they train the other 25. And so it has to be part of your DNA. And that cannot be shortchanged. Like you can't shortcut that. I found that was the hardest and took the longest. It wasn't just a leadership team learned it quickly. Getting 20, 30, 50 people to all say the right healthcare things and know the tech. That took a long time. That was hard.
That's permeating the expertise down through the organization, right?
Better way to say it. Better way to say it, Barb.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard as shit.
But still, just a really good point. Like you forget, I think that you forget that maybe as a leader, it may be crystal clear to you, but you got to get that clarity driven down to everyone in the organization. And that takes time. You don't just tell them once. You don't just kind of have one all hands meeting and then you tell them. You have to remind them, you have to see it in practice, you have to drill it home. And then after a while, then it becomes second nature. But to have that culture, because you talked about it, like the other 80, the 80 that have been around for a while, they help teach the 25 that are new.
Yeah.
I like that takeaway too. You've got to have a learning organization like that.
Let's think about this. You have large dental clinics, dermatology, all these different clinics that you're working on. What is evolving in this space? You touched on LLMs. Talk about how our business is evolving. I mean, as a marketer, oh my gosh, we belong to a CMO community. It's constantly changing what we're facing. So what about you guys? What are the big changes happening?
I think the biggest thing, media changed a lot over the last few years because you had something like Health and Human Services of HHS passed guidelines where you couldn't have pixels on sites. And so we had to develop all new models of tracking and measurement, attribution, and new tech platforms. So that was like the last 3 years. It was a huge pain in the ass, but also awesome for Cardinal because we were the thought leaders and the connectors with the tech and the client, and we'd have lawyers on calls educating other legals. So that was awesome for us, a pain in the ass for everyone in the healthcare industry. Now it's AIO or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't even have one acronym. That's how new it is. We call it AIO. Sounds cool. I saw AESO.
GEO.
GEO? What is that? What is GEO?
Generative Engine Optimization. See, we had to, you're teaching us. We had to teach you at least one thing on this.
I fucking told the brand team I got with Ashley. I said, Ashley, we need to change in navigation to SEO and AIO. She's like, I think it's AESO and then, or LLMO. Like we're starting to sound like fucking teen bands around here.
Right.
So someone please just make a name. That's the big thing, and it's been fun. I think we're kind of leading the healthcare marketing industry and some of it, at least the tracking. We use a tool called Profound, and we've been going to our clients and saying, you aren't getting the recommendation for dermatologist in New York because you don't have content on your website that says best dermatologist in New York. Also, LLMs treat dermatologists as one person, so it's not ranking you. So we have to create different verbiage and all that stuff. Also, another client won't say what industry because this calls them out. And a client in another industry said, you're not getting the recommendation for people looking for your type of care in your state, your city, because you have terrible Glassdoor rankings and you just got hit with a bad press mention. And they say, holy shit, I'm glad you brought this to our attention. I'll go to COO and the PR team and we'll fix those clinics and we'll put out new and it worked. And they turned around in a couple of months and we started getting the recommendation again. So, I think, Barb, back to the initial question is it's exciting. SEO ain't dead. It's morphing a little bit. Now you can't fake it with better links and more spam content like we've done for the last 18 years, unfortunately. So now the business has to be really good, which is cool. And that's been the big change. And none of us can keep up. And that's okay. AI, I think we just have to focus on our discipline and all go hire a 23-year-old out of school that knows AI or wants to learn it. I think that is the key. I think that's what I'm going to do next in January, February. I'm going to go hire the kiddo coming out of school like I was and be like, do you know AI? Oh shit, you like AI? Good enough. Go start doing it in Cardinal and tell us all the ways that we should apply it to our business and that we can sell it to clients, the consulting, the this, and put agents and I don't, there's no way all of us can keep up because we have day jobs. We can't learn a whole new thing at the same time.
Yeah.
This is a conversation Alec and I had. I said, if you're the marketing leader, you're supposed to be an expert at all AI now. You're supposed to teach it to your teams. You're supposed to be the orchestrator of all this work.
Yeah.
It's like, who does that? I'd like to meet that person.
Right. It's not possible. And honestly, what's it driving in terms of business, right? And so we can't turn all of our attention to something that probably will make a big difference in 2 years. Like we cannot do that right now. Obviously, the world's going to change and Terminator's coming. But right now, we need to run really good Meta and Google ads.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah. Well, Google's not going away. Your search isn't going away. Your traffic on your site might be a little lighter, right? But some people are saying that the leads are actually just as good, if not better, because right?
It has not decreased. Leads have not decreased. Traffic is going down quite a bit, but it's all the upper funnel symptom condition traffic. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. And
I think this is helpful to hear, though, right? Because I'm hearing it and I'm seeing this in multiple spots. So as you triangulate more, you're like, oh, okay, you're confirming it through different places. You're the third person now, different person that has observed and made that trend comment, which is, hey, look, search isn't going down. Everyone fears, everyone thinks that, Google's dead now, it's going to go down, but it's not bearing out. No. The data isn't showing that.
It takes longer for people to change their behavior, I think, too, from like how many 20 years of doing the Google. So it's going to take a little while, even if it was a way better alternative. Chat is good for exploratory shit. It summarizes complex things. Claude, Perplexity, they all do the same thing better, which is you don't have to go to 10 websites to get the same thing. But when you need a dentist, you don't need a summary of all this shit and a long drawn out thing. Dentist near me. Still the Google. She's winning that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Also, don't forget, PR's back, right?
I love it. I love PR. So I'm really glad all the two remaining PR specialists out there are excited again. I love it. I mean, dude, it was always the best link out there. And so only a lot of us SEO nerds really love great PR because we knew the value. But now everybody going to be learning how important it is. Yes.
Yeah. And who knew Reddit was going to be so hot?
I think it's a little temporary. I think it's also a signal that we're so tired of so much fucking robot stuff that we just want other humans to ask questions to instead of something, because the AI, the ChatGPT and stuff, it sends back so many inaccurate answers that like, I think we're all a little jaded. Just let me hear from a human what they did. I think that's part of why Reddit's having its renaissance.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Well, our client, a health system client today, is doing an AMA with one of their providers on Reddit. And so we're all having to learn all the Redditness. But I think it's a testament to people just wanting to interact with people. And that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk HIPAA compliance. Let's talk about personal health information. You said I think this stuff can be sort of tricky. That's why you have to be with an agency who understands it for sure. Talk to me about what the right technology that you kind of utilize with that and how you navigate that with health clients. Like, what are the tech platforms that you kind of ask them to work with because they get it?
It is complicated. You want tech platforms that'll sign BAAs. And a lot, Barb, a BAA, business associate agreement, it means you're going to handle any PII that you get really confidentially and securely, all this kind of stuff that Cardinal has to do and spends tons of money on managed security and lawyers and training. And so you only want a tech partner that can do that. And you need a few things. It's lead tracking. So call any more email form tracking, a CRM, HubSpot's HIPAA compliant now, which is cool. And then CDPs, potentially, if you want to run more sophisticated advertising, fresh paint, hours privacy. And so we're all in this little cohort of BFFness. And so that's all really important. We advise our clients and all of that kind of fun stuff. But like the tech is just part 1 of 5. You then need to implement it correctly. And that's not cheap. And so marketing's got more expensive for medical groups because you need a few more things than anyone else in other industries. But when done right, you have the advantage because most medical groups aren't willing to do it. So that's the cool thing right now. The groups that are doing it really well are just kicking butt. It's not as consolidated like retail, e-com, all that stuff. Those industries are so advanced compared to where we are. So
where do you think is next coming for healthcare then? Like, so if they catch on to the marketing thing, what might be coming? I'm kind of asking you to go beyond what you guys do, I know, but you just sparked a curious question for me.
Yeah. everybody in health, I think most healthcare marketers want more personalization and easy access of care. So like, you know how easy it is to go, and Andy Chang, used Chicago medicine. I'll give him credit for this. I saw him presentation. It was smart. You should be able to like order care as easily as you can order something on Uber Eats. Like think about how easy it is to go and order a hamburger and it shows up at your house. Like that's way more logistics than just getting an appointment scheduled for you to go to a fucking dentist. So it really needs to get to that point. Amazon does a good job with it. You can do a few clicks and then you're in One Medical, you have a PCP appointment. So we all want better UX, more access to care. We want better technology that allows us to like reschedule through a text. Tend Dental does this really well. You can reschedule a text, all of that stuff. And so it's incumbent on these medical groups to put all this tech and systems in place when they're really small, and they don't. They want to, we all run it like hood rats, and then they get big and they're like, whoa, it's really hard to go back to 1,000-person organization and do all that stuff. So I recommend they do all of that. Personalization is hard in healthcare, but we all want to serve better content at the right part of the patient journey and not say, come back for your knee surgery when they had an ablation on their heart. I got that one actually. And so you need more sophisticated tracking, CRM, journeys, CDP, all of that fun stuff to give people more relevant content. So that's where it's going, more relevant content, better advertising, better UX, more friendly to reschedule and schedule and stuff like that. That's where we're all trying to take it.
I think, obviously during the pandemic, everybody embraced telehealth, right? For sure.
Yeah.
The things that I think that these health systems and these healthcare entities still struggle with is how do I really integrate telehealth and in-person health in a very seamless way, right? So they can either do one or the other. And the fact is, I would love to do a telehealth appointment for one or two little things, but I want to bring in my sick kid here when it's this way, right? So it's like, I think the dance of how you do that well is probably still not figured out.
They'll figure it out because it's not easy. Sometimes you want this or that. Like the sick kid, we have Blueberry. You stick something in their ear and then a provider can see it. But sometimes you just need to bring them in because it's not going to be a sticking something in the ear or they just look at them on a camera. I had pink eye. It's blepharitis. I actually found I get it all the time because I'm fucking mowing my pastures and stuff. But that I want telehealth for because I'm just like, obviously you can see it, refill the damn thing, but a lot of other stuff you want to go in person. And so giving people both opportunities is important. It didn't go all one way or the other, unlike in-office stuff. Nobody wants to go in offices anymore. So that ended up sticking through COVID, I found. But people want all types of care, right? So, and it'll be cool. You know what I'm excited about, Alec? Back to your question, because I think you weren't wanting me to talk about marketing. I think AI is going to help streamline stuff for doctors because we have almost an infinite need for healthcare around the world, right? And so like it will be really cool for people to get more access to care. Like a radiologist is not needed to review every MRI. So what happens when AI can just review the MRI and get you to the basic stuff of the answer, right? And what happens when AI can do all of the medical coding and the HR for the physician? They can see 5 more people, So that's the most exciting part of the robots coming on board, I think.
Well, today we just saw on LinkedIn that, or I think it came out today that, China has now this first AI hospital, which, was a post, which is kind of viral right now. But let's think about it. We already kind of have this, right? It's not a physical entity. It's actually a virtual entity, right? Where people are collecting data. You have AI agents that are based on specialty. And then people are collecting data based on, right, symptom diagnosis, care delivery, and outcome. So if you think about it, we kind of already have that. The question is the data accessible to everyone? I don't know.
That's cool. So what do? You get on an app and it looks at you, or how it gets your health readings and it looks through your former stuff and it will advise on plan of care that way? Are you actually going into a physical site? I'll look it up later.
Look it up. So there's no physical site. It's a virtual site. And it's in the cloud. We have these AI agents are based on specialty. So you can see your specialist. They said, I don't know, first X patients were something like 93% success rate. So, right now, this is a post, right, that's happening out in the marketplace, but actually we have the capability to do this, right?
Yeah. Sorry, doctors. I still need a doctor to do the knee scope for my damn ACL tear I had a long time ago. I'm fucking walking with arthritis right now. So still, that doctor is going to be employed because I don't want a robot digging in my knee.
No, you can't when you're going to have a knee surgery done. I know that.
But a lot of this stuff, Barb, you're making a good point. And a lot of probably all the PCP urgent care stuff that is not like an actual physical thing that someone needs to go get a bone, graft or whatever, probably can be done virtually with the robots.
The beauty of that is it's data collection right now, right? See, whoever owns the data warehouse to that, right, is the winner. Anyway, we'll see if it's in the cloud. We'll see if it's owned. It's a fascinating idea.
The world's about change.
I know.
A lot.
But even though that, I think one thing that you put in my thought and put in my head was that when you were answering that question about AI, though, even though things are happening quickly, don't feel like you're so far behind that it's a lost cause. It's not. It's because it's almost the opposite. Because it's so happening so quickly, it's like even someone that's ahead, it's constantly disrupting again, or there's something new coming up again. So you have the ability to just still go out and experiment. Try it, right? And every little step that you take just gets you a little bit more educated than the next person.
A little bit further ahead of the rest of the humans. I mean, dude, when you're listening to Elon Musk and Sam Altman talk about their own technology, and they're like, we don't know how it comes to the answers, and we don't know how it's smarter than everything. Dude,
right. You're like,
if they don't know.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And isn't that the astounding thing? They really don't even know, right?
Astounding is a nice word. That's a nice word.
All right.
I could say terrifying.
Yeah.
Yes. But it could, this is the age of iteration, right? So as we learn, we get smarter and we don't go off the cliff, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Just want to do it in a 67 Shelby GT 500 Mustang named Eleanor.
Yeah.
I just want to do it in a really awesome car.
Alex, how do all of our listeners get a hold of you for their next multi-site healthcare business?
Oh, that's very nice. Thanks, guys. Just go to LinkedIn, and then if you like what you see there and you're not terribly put off by the way we talk, then hit us up. But I'd suggest spending a few weeks watching what's about to come at you, because most people are pretty turned off when they start reading our content and seeing how we talk. So give it a minute.
Right there.
Content.
You know what I say, and I've had so many people say, stop jumping in, stop talking about your political views, stop all of this shit. You're in healthcare, you got to be serious. And we've grown like crazy. So I think we definitely put off 30%, but it makes the rest, the 70, really appreciate that we're going to have fun working together, and we're going to do good things for the world with real people and not be corporate at all. So I am adamant about letting your freak flag fly, baby.
Love it.
Well, I'm all about, transparency, right? You got to be who you are, because people can read through you like a bad AI chat.
That's right.
Rim, right?
And okay, so and people find you on LinkedIn, just is it your name, Alex Membrillo, or is it Cardinal?
That's it. Or you can find Cardinal Digital Marketing at all roads.
Okay.
And back at LinkedIn.
All right.
Yeah, find us there. If you search healthcare marketing and we're not number one, you should go with someone else also, right?
There you go.
I don't know. I think we're number one today for shit. I don't know if that was what it'll be in 2 weeks. All right, guys, this is fun. Thanks for having me.
Thanks very much, Alex. Appreciate it.